Hey, it's Matt Roush,
And Mike Brennan.
and we're back with another edition of the M Squared TechCast right here at MITechNews.TV, Facebook Live, and a whole bunch of other places.
Yes, indeed. And so we have Lisa Kujawa on with us again from LTU because actually, I guess today is the first day of classes at LTU. And I'll let Matt take over from here, but I'm just sort of setting you up here. A lot of colleges are going, some of them are going all virtual, some are a mix of virtual and in class. And we were chatting just before we began, and I think that's you guys. You're a mix, right?
Yes, we are. So thank you so much, Mike and Matt, for having me. So Lawrence Tech today was the first day of classes, and our undergrads are here on ground in their classes. Some adaptability, maybe if they're going to use Zoom, the instructor might, if they're 40 people in the class, have 15 come at one point, the others Zoom and back and forth. The grads are all online with the studios and labs being on ground. And that's something we learned in the spring when we went online very quickly, that theory and practice matters, that hands-on experience. So that's why the grads actually wanted that to continue.
Yeah, and I think Lawrence Tech is in a little bit different place, isn't it, than a big state school, because we don't have those big freshman lectures with like 400 people in them. Like the biggest class you're going to find at Lawrence Tech is what, maybe 25 or 30 people?
Yeah, great point, Matt. So what our people did, so basically in March, we went fully online. And that was so easy for the spring semester because of the fact we're technological with our laptops, which is a huge advantage for our students. And then we started to do everything virtually. We started to bring students back. And so, yeah, our people went around to each and every classroom, took the first row out, social distanced the rest. There are stickers everywhere so students know where to sit, where not to sit. We have policies about masks. Our faculty are wearing shields. Excuse me, I apologize. And the classrooms have been designated. If there is larger ones, then the classes are being moved to those larger rooms. So everything actually has worked out perfectly well. Everyone's organizing and helping and supporting. And the most and the best is the interest of the health of our students and our staff and faculty. So I think all of that is moving forward.
And if someone I'm sorry, Matt, but if someone should get sick, are you going to make them quarantine, or what are you going to do?
So yes, so for example, we did have 2 students already. One was not here yet. One was here, so they're being quarantined. We have 1 floor in the residence hall for quarantine. We have an app now our students use and staff as of today gives us a perspective of, did they test positive? Did they test negative? Do they have these symptoms? So we're monitoring that. The residence halls, when the students come to get their food, it's takeout only. If they sit, it's still in a box. They don't get to touch everything. And we are working with the Oakland County Health Department related to trace and testing. So we have a variety of precautions in place. I think we started early, and because the president really was pushing, making sure we can open, because so many of our parents, both for new and current students, were emailing the president early on saying, please, please, please open.
Was it just because, I'm sorry, because it was just because they would have to, manage the kids at home or something? Or?
So that's funny, Mike. I had a football dad who said, I told him, get in the car, you're going back. But so that was one of it. But the other thing is that, again, I think everybody wants their moment, and the parents want their kids back to get that moment, to continue on the path, whatever path they were in. But they want it to happen with them socializing, with them being educated here. And so really, we're doing the best. I think we're doing so great to further this commitment of ours to the students and the parents.
Well, and we've had some of our faculty members also heavily involved in producing PPE, right? I know the dean of the College of Business and Information Technology. We've got pictures of him making face shields. I've got one right over there, in fact. So, I mean, but they've been involved and very active in this process, right?
Absolutely. So our accelerator, they started making face masks for people in and around the Southfield community, as well as business and industry, as well as Matt saying, the Dean of Business and Information Technology, same thing. Every college is adapting based on the culture to their student, but at the same time with the idea that we have to social distance, we have to make sure we continue to maintain the health, and that people follow the rules. And the president just walked around today, as he always does, and he said, I'm very happy everybody's doing what they need to do.
Good. Okay. So talk a little bit about the LTU Safety Committee. What is it? Who's on it? How often does it meet? What have those meetings been like?
So the president added the safety committee immediately in March when the shutdown happened. And it's people within the faculty ranks, within the administration staff. And so they've been working since then, preparing for today. What do we do? So for example, early in April, they went from each college and set a kind of specific style classroom for each college so that they could see how this social distancing effect would happen with their students. Then that's when we started making the PPE. We came up with rules, regulations. I think the best thing the president did was communicate every 2 weeks with not only our students, the campus community, our faculty, our alums, to just keep that ball going down, that so rumors didn't continue. This is what's happening. This is where we're going. This is why we're doing it. And he's still doing, he did one last email on Friday, which was, hey, we're in it together. Let's go, you know?
Now,
Sounds
did you, when you guys were just totally virtual in the spring, did you learn what works and what doesn't work from that experience?
Mike, I'm so glad you said that. So first, we went virtual orientation for new students for the fall, okay? We're right now, for incoming freshmen, 13% ahead of where we were last year. And I believe one of the greatest things Zoom did for us was parents got to be with financial aid a lot longer and university advising a lot longer. And so that sense of how do I financially pay for this? What's the financial path for me? What's the courses my students taking? How does that affect this and that? And I believe those two areas, in essence, supported our growth in FIDIACs.
Okay. And FIDIAC stands for
Sorry,
people who are...
first time in any college. So my point was when there were a lot of students in Michigan saying, I'm going to rethink my first choice. When Michigan closed last week, we got maybe 8 students immediately in 3 days from Michigan, because at the end of the day, no matter what the cost of education, the experience has to be something that you truly, truly want, and it'll benefit you both personally, professionally, your mind, the kind of character you want, and overall what kind of person you want in a career. So I think our size, how fast we adapted, our communication benefited us immensely.
Well, I imagine you put the kibosh on parties and things like that, right? How are you going to handle that part? That is college after all, right?
Right. So Mike, it's a great question. So the other day, Dr. Mogla, as Matt knows, he's a walker. He likes to walk around and talk to people. So he saw like 7 kids in the atrium sitting too close to each other. They were like, hey, Dr. Modgill. He walked down there. He went over there and he said, are you glad you're back? And they said, yes, we're so glad. Thank you. He says, okay, then we all have to do our part. You got to separate here, move apart. And so his point to us was, it's everybody. All of us have to help each other. Otherwise, it can't just be this is the student's fault or this is our fault. So we're trying as best as we can to mitigate whatever happens, knowing something is going to happen.
College students are college students. I know what my days were like. Of course, that was back when we rode dinosaurs, but I don't think that's changed all that much, right?
Right.
Now, from what I see, it hasn't changed all that much, but that is one of the things we unfortunately had to do this fall, was basically cancel all of the big lectures and colloquia and other programs that colleges and universities typically normally do, because we can't have 300 people sitting in the auditorium. I mean, we just can't. So all of those events, to the extent that they're going to happen this fall, are going to be virtual. And unfortunately, we also had to put the kibosh on fall sports, right?
Well, it's just some of them are just going to be pushed back. So we're still going to do it. And And so the interesting thing is too, again, you try to find these positive things, as Mike said, in this process. So one of the things was that we had our first virtual recruitment event for next recruitment cycle. We had over 100 people on that. And frankly, way more from states and countries than we ever had before. So these are some of the things we have to take advantage of and kind of go with in this process.
Okay. So yeah, some things are actually more convenient when they're online.
It's true.
Some things you want to be in person. Other things, I think one of the things we've learned through all this is that a lot of things can be done virtually. Nothing really replaces face-to-face interaction, but there are some things that really work well in this meeting.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely. And the other thing is just to be that positive approach to looking at things, doing things differently, and saying we're going to get to that goal that we have. And so I think that's what we're trying to teach the students too.
Well, and when it comes to football, frankly, I had somebody mention to me that it's going to be kind of nice to have the weather getting nicer during the season if we play in the spring, rather than having it getting worse throughout the season. So you freeze your keister off by November, but we're going to start out freezing and warm up gradually, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that. Go ahead.
That's the tricky part, is no one knows the what's next part. No one knows when the vaccines are going to come, how quickly they're going to get disseminated. We have Fred Brown on at the end of the show, and he always scares the pants off us because he's an epidemiologist. But this may be the new normal for a couple of years. Who knows? So.
And Mike, that's the point that we're trying to say is Dr. Montgomery could have said, we're going to shut down completely, we're going to stay online. But he felt there was an opportunity for us to show our uniqueness as a private technological university, and that's what I believe we're doing. And yes, was something going to happen? Is someone going to get tested positive? All of that is yes, probably, most likely. But how, if we can approach it in a way that provides us that opportunity to showcase who we are, let's just do it. And that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, got about a minute left, so I'll let you guys do the shameless plug part. Go ahead.
Okay, Lisa, if people want more information about attending Lawrence Technological University, where do they go?
I would go to admissions@ltu.edu. You can make appointments. Here's the other thing. We have tours every day, and those things are packed. And we have to social distance them. So we're ready and willing to see students, ltu.edu. You can apply, you can inquiry. There's buttons that pop up immediately. And we're happy to have you look at who we are and what we are and showcase the greatest private technological university, frankly, in Michigan, if not the world.
Traditional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life. But LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.